Hi all, it's Kylie here from WhichCraft. Thanks for joining me again today. Still playing with our book pages, but this one is also a design team project for WhichCraft Do You Do, so the link for them will be below. What I want to do today though is show us how to use book pages as our bases. So this is a great little flip and fold. Guys that have been with me for a while will know I love my flips and my folds and all the rest. But again, we're using our atlases or anything that you've got in those coffee table books that are the bigger ones. So the one I'm using today, is this monster. Encyclopedia Britannica World Atlas. Now, I picked this up from a thrift shop for $2. You can see that it's a whopper, an absolute whopper. And it's got some wonderful blank pages at the front. But it's got all these other map pages, but it's big. So this one would be the tallest of my atlases, and I love it for just that reason. So the actual size in the length of these maps are 14 3/4 inches long, or 37.5 centimetres long. So it allows for a lot of scope. So the little project that we're doing today needs something long. Now you can do it with smaller pages, but you'll need to join them. Adding joins adds bulk. So with our map pages, so like here's my map page, and I've just torn this out because this book is not sewn in, it's glued in. So I've torn this out, and out of this page I'll end up with 2 of these. So what I want is a piece that is 5 inches wide. Okay, I'm going to keep the full length, but I want a piece that's 5 inches wide. I find that's a good size to fit into my journals. You could do it wider if you want, by all means, but the 5 inches works really well. And the size that you'll finish up with for this little guy is 5 inches by 3 inches. Okay, this is so easy and such a clever little surprise one. So it's got a little opening here. We've got our flap. It's then, now each one of these are a pocket, which I of course not put anything in yet, and more here. Okay, so that opens right out, of course. But if we close that and close that one back up, it just slots in there. Turn it over, there's our back. But now when we open this side, we've got a little journal. Now I've only popped a couple of pages in here just to show you. And again, I've kept them in very thin paper so that it doesn't create too much bulk, because it's got a lot of added digitals on that we're using from WhichCraft Do You Do. And that's all I've used. This is my book page and some digitals. Great way also to use up all your little bits left over from your digitals to embellish. The 3 kits that we're using today are Correspondence Collection-Set. I can't remember which set it was. Hang on a moment. I've got my folder over here. All right, Correspondence Collection-Set One, which are these beautiful, I love these, and I love the colours and all the rest. So that's this one. I have printed these on presentation paper, not just normal copy paper, because I think it just makes them a little bit crisper. So it comes in this colour. It comes in, the same set comes in another colour as well. And then you've got envelopes in there, and you've got all sorts of other postcard backings and all sorts of things. So this is what we're using today. I've already got mine cut up, so you don't need to see me cutting them up. The other one I'm using is Vintage Ads Set One. Now, the Vintage Ads in Set One come in numerous different colours. So there's about, I don't know, there would be about 7, 8, 9, something like that, different full sheets of different ads. But you've got 4 or 5 different colour ranges in them. So the colour I'm using today, of course, is this one. This is a me colour. That's just without saying. You've got this beautiful, beautiful colour in this. It then goes into that. That's the same colour, Kylie. and you've got that which is a bit darker, and there's a blue as well. So there's numerous different colours in this one as well. And the last one that we're doing is back here, is Assorted Labels, set 4. Now, Assorted Labels, it's one of those wonderful ones you need to have in your arsenal for everything. We're going to be decorating with these, but this is a freebie. If you go onto their website, you'll find that they have freebies in there, and this is a downloadable freebie. So this one's not going to cost you anything. And I thought we'd play with this one as well so that you can see what you can do with something like that. Okay, so that's what we're using today. This thing is so easy. Right, let's get onto it. I'll move that one over here onto the floor behind me. And we're going to do just one of these. So here it is, and it's 5 inches by, what, 14 3/4, whatever the length. So with a scoreboard, if you don't have a scoreboard, don't fret about it. Just fold them. I like atlases because they're a fairly thin paper as well. And all I'm going to do is sit this in my scoreboard. My in shot, yep. Sit that nice and straight in there, and I'm going to score. Now, I did just say they're a light paper, so don't score too hard. Okay, so I want 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches. You can see the pattern here. We're just going in 3-inch increments. Okay, and then we want 12 inches, which is there. That can be put away. Okay. So now we've got 3, another 3, another 3, another 3, and whatever is left over here. So first things first, we're going to fold our bottom up on that fold line. Then we're going to concertina it. So we're going to go back on that fold line. Okay. Back up on that fold line. And instead of concertinaing this one, we're going to bring this to the front. Okay, now that was whatever we had left, so it's not going to fit all the way down the bottom. Don't fret. Give them a good push, like so. Okay, so now what we've got is this and that. This one will fold in there, and then there is our little book piece. How easy was that? That's all it is. Now, to make our little flap at the top, you can leave that as that if you want. I like to make them so that I've got something to tuck it in, which will close it all up. And that is so easy to do. So with this one, it's going to finish down here. So you'll see with this one, I had it finished a little bit earlier. We're going to finish this down here. What you want to do is find your centre point and your pencil. All right, it's 5 inches, or not quite 13 centimetres. So if we work in inches, 2.5, that's my centre point. Okay, so this one I made with about 1 inch across the bottom. What I'm going to do with this one is make it a little bit smaller and make it only 1/2 inch down the bottom. So from that centre point, I'm going to go 1/4 inch over and 1/4 inch over, just so that it's a finer point going in. This is nice, but because it's so wide, it's a little bit harder to get in. So I thought for this one, we might make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and then we're going to measure down 1 inch up here. About there. Okay, and we're going to measure 1 inch down here. Right, fold that back out, because now what we're going to do is cut that from there to there. You can use your trimmer, you can use scissors, whatever makes you comfortable, you can use. So I'm just going to take that corner off. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to find where I put that pencil mark first. There it is. There's that pencil mark. down to that one. Like so. Okay. So now we've got our little flap. So much easier. All you're doing is that. Always find your centre mark first and then work out how much wider you want this. Remember to rub out your pencil lines just in case they're still sitting on these corners. Keep thinking that's pencil line, but it's part of this. Okay, and then from there, if you're an inker, ink it now and ink all of this. Okay, so to make it a little bit quicker so that you don't have to see me inking, there it is. Same thing. Look, I've gone down a little bit less there. So this one I've gone down 1 inch. This one I'd say I've only gone down, I reckon I've gone down 1 centimetre. There you go. Sometimes it's millimetre, sometimes it's imperial, sometimes it's metric. Okay, so exactly the same thing, but I'm all inked. Again, inking's good because I can see where my folds are. So that one will be popped aside. So here is exactly the same thing, already inked. What we're going to do, first off, is cover our front sheet, the sheet that folds down, okay? Now, I have already, to save time, look, aren't you proud? And I've labelled them. So I'm hoping that that will save time. Front first panel. This is going to go in here so that I've got a border going around. I don't mind that there's a little bit of writing down here. I think for this sort of thing, it just adds a little bit of extra texture, extra elements going on with it, just another bit of a focal point. You'll see all my work so that I didn't forget the measurements for you. Right, here's my glue book. I'm just going to glue this one on. First thing with my glue stick. Then we're going to work out how to do our front closure. But you want this one on first. Right. So sitting this one on. I like the glue stick because it gives me time to manoeuvre it around. I can straighten it up as I go. All right, give it a good push. There's that one. I'm going to close this because we don't need it just at the moment. So this is where this is going to sit. I'm liking this little line here, actually. This is quite a good line. And if that's straight, we can utilise that. So I'm just going to sit this again on my grid so that the whole thing's straight. No, of course that's not straight. All right, so we're going to go up to that point. I'm going to go down here. And I'm just going to make a straight. So see how my ruler's nice and straight there? I've matched them up to my grid lines, and I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to put a dot here just a little bit past where this is. If you put your dots to cut across dead where that is, it makes it way too tight to slide in. Okay, so we're going to go out, I don't know, a couple of mil, or I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, something like that. We can always make it a little bit wider if need be. So I've now got 2 little pencil marks there, one there and one there. I'm going to fold this back out. I'm going to do the same. Now put my ruler on those dots. And I'm going to take my knife or your trimmer. If you've got a little V-blade trimmer, you can do the same with that. Okay, so just make sure that's gone through. Double check I've got all the way to my dots. Yep. So now you can see I've cut that in between my dots. Use your rubber again. Just make sure you get those dots off if they're still sitting there. So what we've got now, if we fold this back up, is we should now have a place for that to slide into. You want it to slide in nice and neatly so that it doesn't bend up, because it's going to have a few more layers. So what we're going to do now that we've got that there is we're going to cover the front of this and we're going to cover the back of this. Then we can double check that this is still wide enough. It should be. So I've got my 2 little pieces already cut here, and to cut these, again, just get, let's say, that was a square that we're using. You'll sit it on there, and I'll make a measurement, and I'll cut down there so that I know this bit's straight. Then I will sit it up in here, work out where this is, and then cut a little bit further up, and then again, cut my corners off. Easy as that. I wanted to show you, but it takes too much time. Inside flap. It takes too much time cutting them out that I wanted to show you the finished product. So this one's going to go in here. Inside flap cover. Back with the glue stick. Because this one technically has 3 layers, inside, middle, or the base, and the outside, we're just going to make sure that that little cut that we've done is dead straight, I was going to say. Be nice if it's dead straight, but that it's actually long enough. All right, give them a push down again. And we're going to do the same to the top. So you can see why I've already inked this and cut all these out, because it does take a little while. So we'll glue that one up. But all in all, this whole thing from start to finish doesn't take that long. And it's a great way to use up, let's say you've got a digital set and you've used it for a journal and you've got all the little pieces left over. Great. Okay, so there's that, front and back covered. Now we'll just double check again that this will actually fit in here. I know I should wait till my glue's finished. That fits perfectly still. And it doesn't buckle, it's not sitting up anymore, so I don't need to take these any further. If you find it's raised up a little bit in here, it's because this line is not long enough and you need to come out just a little bit further just to make it doable. Undoing that, now we've got these. The last one of this from the Correspondence Collection is our back piece. We're going to stick that one on now as well, which I reckon is that one. Whichever way you want to go, I'm thinking I'm going to have it that way. I'm going to stick that on. And then what I'm going to do is go to the vintage ads. Now, I like the ads 2 reasons. Right, just sticking that one on, just concentrating a little bit. All right, back to the ads. I like the ads for 2 reasons. One, I just love ads. I really, really love the ads. But with these, if I pull these back out, all right, here's my ads that I want to use. I love these. And yes, I can cut these pieces out and use these and all the rest. But what I want to do with them, I'm just going to make some room here because I want my trimmer over here. Because these ones I haven't actually cut out. So I need 1, 2, 3, and 4 ads because I want all those inside flaps done with the ads, which I've just left my ruler under there. So the size that I want, if I sit that there, giving myself a little bit of a gap there, a little bit of a gap there. So you're looking, if you're looking in inches, you're looking at about 2 7/8, I suppose. If you're going in centimetres, it's about 3 centimetres and 3 mil, 7.3 mil, round about that. Okay. Or you could just be lazy like me and sit it on. All right. And make a mark with your pencil. So work out the gap you want down the bottom. Set it up here. Make a mark with your pencil. Makes no difference whether you measure first or whether you actually just cut first. Does that make sense? What I'm actually thinking though, first of all, and I know I've made that mark, I'm going to trim that bit down there. because I like all this. So I'm just going to take that to there. I like some of these. So that mark, I can make a mark again. Setting that on there. Yep, I like all these going through it. So, okay, there, which is about there. Tucking that one in. Trimming that off, because I think that looks really interesting. I'm going to do another one of those. And this time I'm using this as my template, because we know that that's going to fit in there lovely. So I'm going to use this one as my template. Sit that in. I don't know if I go sideways. Can you see it better if I go sideways? So I'm just going to line this one up with that. And take him to there. Right, I can move that one. Bring him in a bit. And that one. And I really like this opposite post office. So I'm going to just trim off that top little black line. Like that. And I want that size. So, again, I'm just using this one as a template. It's about there. Right. So I've got 3 there. I've got 1, 2, 3, and I've got a couple of bits for my other advertising, like this one and this little section. I really like this little section. I love these. So I've got those for decorating for my ephemera, bits and pieces like that. I need one more, and my other favourite one in all of these is this. I love that. So what I'm going to do is cut this piece out, and I know it needs to be 5 inches. So, or it needs to be just under 5 inches. I definitely want, yep. So what I'm going to do is just take that from there. Beautiful. Cut just under that black line again. And the same on this side. Right. And this time, I know I want it, what did we say we want? 5. If I take it to 5, we're just going to take it down there. I'm just going to run that straight down there, and then I can straighten it up from that. Right. So if I can take it a little bit off there and a little bit off the bottom, that works, and that. So I never really use measurements. I try to use measurements when I'm talking to you guys and trying to help with all of that. I'm going to take that little border off there, because then it'll match up a little bit better, won't it? So I'm just going to take a little bit at a time, and then I can keep checking. So that's that one. A little bit off this bottom piece as well. Keeping it nice and straight as we go. And there. Right, so now all we want to do is trim up a little bit over here. I love this. I don't want to lose this little piece from the watch. I technically want to take it about where I've torn that. Right. Just like that. So that's that one. These ones can be anything. And again, I'm going to take it to that black line. Take him over. And I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to trim him at the other side of the L. And that's more how I do measurements. He's a little bit, tiny little bit tall, so I'm just going to knock off just a little bit. He's also a little bit crooked, Kylie. Right, like that. So 2. Which bit do I like in that? Like this. And I like that side. Opposite post office. I think that's really sweet. So let's see if that one fits. I'm sure it does, because these are the ads that I used in my original one the other night. Yep, and we're going to finish just that side of that black line. So I can do it like this now because I've shown you how to measure it. So now I can just go for it. Right, that's that one. 1, 2, 3. I need one more, and I've got some lovely advertising again there. And this one, what about Sweet Scents? That will work, won't it? So we'll take the top of the Sweet Scents. That's that one. This one's going to go down here. And we're going to go to, yep, the inside of that black line. And I'm going to take just a smidge off this one as well. Just a real little smidge. Right. Get rid of those. They're my ads. I know. There had to be some inking in here somewhere, didn't there? But all I'm doing is very quickly, 2 reasons. I've inked around my little booklet. I suppose it's a booklet, isn't it? I've inked around that, which has smudged up the edges. And then if I've inked around these, it keeps those edges even more or less. And so it all tends to flow from one to the other. That's how I look at it. You know, if you're not an inker, don't worry about it. I know, we all go on about inking. But just fast forward me. That's fine. I don't mind. Truly. All right. Kits like these are just so versatile. They're just, and I think the best thing that I love about WhichCraft Do You Do is they do their kits, but then you've got so many different colour combinations that you can use with them. They do them in so many different colours. So they're so versatile. You can use the same kit over and over, but just print it out in different colours again. All right, and put that one up there. Put that one there. Put that one there. And that one there. All right, let's start sticking. I need that. Don't need those. I need my glue book. And I need my glue. All right, very quickly. Is that straight? Can you even see when I'm that far up? Because I can't. And then this one. Oh, my glue's gone all sticky. Temperature's heating up. Not as hot as it was yesterday, but still getting there. All right. And that one. And already it's starting to look different. And you'd never realise that there is a... pull those ones off. You would never realise that there was an atlas underneath it. And, you know, you can, as I've said before, these books you can pick up so cheap these days. Vintage books are getting dearer and dearer to get, because I think all the op shops and the thrift shops and all the rest have cottoned on that we're all after them. I don't know. And sometimes we don't want to rip those up anywhere. But these sorts of books, these atlases, are everywhere. They're classed, well, nobody uses atlases because everybody uses their phones and their iPads, Google Maps and all the rest these days. And they're a great size. And they're everywhere in the thrift shop. stores. This one that we're using today, I actually purchased because when I was on the road working, as I was for quite a few months this year, and I'd take my little bits and pieces with me, and I'd got up there to do something and realised I'd taken no background paper because I was doing journal cards in the hotel of a night time. So I'd taken no background paper, so I flew down to an op shop and found an atlas for $2, and it made great background paper to do my journal cards on. And then I could cover them all with my flowers and my stamps and all the rest. That's where this one, and it was just the first one I came across, which is so, and it just turned out to be the most beautiful size. So here we go. Look at this. Just stuck that on because I've been talking to you. Hang on a moment. That's because I was talking. I need to unglue that bit. And I'm going to say, when you get to the bottom one, don't glue. Just glue around it. And then I've just been sitting there talking to you. So as it was the last one, I should be able to open it. There it is. Right. Normally, when you get to this bottom one, you will glue, as in this one, you will glue around there. Don't glue the centre, okay? No. There we go. That's all right. Luckily, it was the last one, and my bits will go in there. Remember that. Don't talk while you're doing it. And when you get to this bottom one, just glue around. Because you want this piece, you can glue up here, but just put a line down here so that this section is not glued. Rookie mistake, Kylie, my God. I've been doing these closures for 20 odd years. And I've been talking. So there you go. Right. That'll still go in here. We want our other two little pieces, which I've got this one. How are we going for time? 32, very good. Right, so we're going to start gluing these ones in. These can be glued all the way in. I'll go straight down. Nice and straight. So you can see, because it's got so many layers to it, that you don't want anything too thick as your base. Which is why cardstock's going to be a little bit too heavy when you get your longer pieces of cardstock. If you're going to use copy paper, you're going to need to use an A3 size, which is the double length of A4. I don't know what that is in the US. UK uses the same as here in Australia, so I don't know. You have letter size, whatever your double letter size is. So you could use those, copy paper in the big A3 sizes, or double your letter size. Otherwise, you're not going to get the length to do all those folds, as I said before, and you're going to have to attach them, and then you'll have attached pieces either in here on the flat, and you'll have more bulk going on in there as well, or you'll have an attached piece where it folds, and this is all going to start to become too thick as well. So here's our little inner bit. All right, I'm going to sew in, put that one over there. We're going to sew in our little pieces of paper, and I've just got a couple of pieces. These are packing paper of some sort that I've very lightly coffee or tea dyed. I'm just going to fold them in half. Now these things measure, what is it, 5.5 by 4.5 for this size. One. So we're folding our 5.5 inch length in half. Pop them in there together. give them a good crease down with your bone folder again. We want a couple of paper clips. And we're going to pop them in here. Okay, so it's going to get sewn in there. What we're going to do first of all, though, is just work out where we want our holes. We know that they're all the same in these ones. So we want somewhere in the centre first. So it's about 11.5 centimetres or 4.5 inches, whichever way you're working. So it's going to be around about there. Doesn't matter if it's not dead on. I want it, I don't know, just a little bit up from the bottom. I'm not even going to work that one out, so I'm just going to make a mark about there and make a mark about there. Okay, so I'm going to punch those. No, I'm not going to punch those. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use that. Get out my thread. Right. So here's my 2 lonely little sheets. You could put more in it, that's fine. I'm going to sit this in here so it sits in nice and evenly, which is about there. Now it's even. Right, tuck that right down. I'm going to use a paper clip up here just to hold them in place, and I'm going to use a paper clip down here on this side. Okay, so that just holds them in place. Use my awl, pokey tool, whatever, straight through there. So it's going through this centre piece and it's not hurting any other folded area. There. And there. Now we're going to sew this. Now I'm just going to use a very fine crochet cotton. I don't have a size, gram or anything else for this one. General rule of thumb, remember, 3 times the length of your little journal or your book or whatever it is that you're doing. And I want, I've got my needles here, I want a fairly fine needle, not my normal needles that I sew with, because this is so small, I don't want big gaping holes, which is why I've used a fine cotton as well. And not mine. I normally use crochet cotton, but it's a thicker one than this, of course. Let's see if I can even get it through. Probably not. Maybe I should put the different glasses on. Here we go, here we go, here we go. There we go. All right, pull him through a bit. Starting from the inside with this one because I want to make little tails on the inside. So straight through. Bring him out. Up to the top one. You keep it nice and straight, it'll go through. And then we're just going to pull that through there. All the way down to the bottom hole. And back out. So you can see it coming through like that. And then we're going to go back in to our middle one. I know a lot of you have already know how to sew in signatures. I'm just hanging on to this bit to keep him out of the way. And this one's going to go back in to this centre hole without catching any other thread. So I want to bring him this side of this centre piece. This one's on this side and I don't want to catch that one, so that's fine. Straight through. So now we're just going to tie a knot, a double slip knot, but you want these fairly tight. So we're just going to pull on a little bit. Don't rip your paper as you're pulling. So hold it nice and tight. Can you hear how that twangs? That one could do with a little bit more. Right. Now, right over left. And then the other way around. Okay. Now, a couple of ways you can then finish that off. You can either dab a bit of glue in there Once that glue is dry, you can then trim that really close. What I like to do, apart from putting my needle away, hang on a moment. Set that one there, and that one there. Move these out of the way so that we can see what we're doing. And my all is, I've got numbers. Right, one of my cases. Now I've got these that I've stamped. Yep, there's one. It's an 8. And they're typewriter numbers. Now you can find them as stickers. You can find them as, you could punch them out yourself and just write something on there. And I like to use these, something nice and little. We need little for this one anyway. And I'm just going to go around that one as well, just to highlight that up so that when it's sitting on the paper. Now these have just been made out of, don't know, it looks like a handmade paper I've done. I don't know. I'll just have days where I sit down and stamp things and then cut them out and chuck them into the appropriate bits and pieces. So I'm going to have a 9 and an 8. I'll work out where I want this to go. So I want it to sit about down there. Okay, bit of double-sided tape. You only need a little bit because that'll hold it to start with. And I'm thinking my 8 on the back side. So what I want to do, see how my 8 goes that way? I'm going to put my double-sided tape that side up. Okay, peel that off because then I can see which way it is. And I haven't gone, you know, sideways. I'm going to sit this on here. I'm going to pull these ones down so that they're both the same length. And stick them on that double-sided tape. Trim off my ends that I don't need anymore. And then with my normal white glue, do I want this as a 6 or a 9? There we go. Right. I do need my tweezers with this because my fingers are just a little bit too big. It's going to be a 9. So again, I can see which way this goes. And I'm going to attach this straight over the top. Give it a push, make sure that there's no glue coming out anywhere. And now what I've got is a little dangle in here. And that's finished those off beautifully, okay? So here's our front. There's our little dangle. As a book, we could put more pockets in here, but to put pockets in here and decorate it all up, what I like is, as I said, the vintage labels. Antique labels. Vintage labels. Now, here are mine. So I've cut all mine out and I've inked around them so that I can't see the white core colour. Assorted labels is what they're called. I will write all the ones that I've used down below and you will find the link. Now that will take you straight into the digital page and you can find them from there, but I will write which ones they are down below. Ooh, right, so here is my book, which I've actually sewn through there. So we'll just do 1 or 2 of these just so that you can see what I want to do with them. Right, so what I wanted to do with these labels is I want this bit as a pocket. And let's use, I love all these. I think they're just gorgeous. Hang on, I want all my flat ones as my pockets. I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to go sideways and have it as a pocket that way so that I can have, because this was the one that I, for lack of a better word, ruined. So all it is we're going to layer these around. So you've got these sorts of ones. This one's going to sit here so that I'll have one way, one the other way. Does that make sense? And then it's just a matter, lift that one up a little bit, pop that one down there. So that, because I'm running short on time, aren't I? 45, I've got a little bit of time. So this one we can pop on. I love all these sorts of things. So what we're going to do with them is I've got my numbers. Now all of these have come from WhichCraft Do You Do. That's their number set. That's their new Miller and French set. And that's the one from Creative Expressions that they've got, that's got lots of dates and things like that on it. And they're the three most favourite stamp sets that I use, because I find that they go for just about everything. So all my numbers in here, all of these clear ones are from the initial set that they came out with, which is this one, and some from the other sets. Now if we go into something nice and large, see how I can do things like that. Or if I go into the new one, which the plastic is getting shocking now, Kylie. See how we've got all these words and all the rest, and I set them there, set that way so that I can see exactly what I've got. I just love these, because I've got such a different size variation in them. I quite like that sitting in there actually, so I'm going to stamp that one before I get any further. I'm just sitting there on my piece of foam. This one's going to go but slightly over because I've got that piece coming down, haven't I? And I might need a slightly larger one, which is that. And what I'm going to do is stamp it in a deeper ink. And just down like that. Right. Put the lid on that before I put anything onto it. And this one can sit in here like that. So you can see when it's dry because the shine will disappear off that. Once it's dry, we can use this glue again. Turn it into a pocket. Make sure you've got it up the right way. Yep. Straight down. Okay. Down like that. We've got a pocket down there now out of our labels. And then I'm thinking this one, I'm actually going to go that way so I can stamp something on it that way. So we want something small to go in there. So if we go to one of our normal, here we go. Go to one of these. What's going to fit beautifully in there? 9147. Now, if you get one of these and it doesn't quite fit, you don't have to do the whole numbers. You can take off that number section and just do 9147. So I want something a little bit larger. 291, or do I want a word because I've already got numbers? Let's have a look at our words. In that one, how about just royal? Royal will work nice, and then I can show you how to pop on just a single one. I need that big one again, don't I? Don't I do that a lot? Here it is. All right, I'll do this one and so that you can see what we're doing. And then I'll go back to the original one so that you can see how it all gets finished off. So, see this stamp? I just want royal in there. So, to do that, I'm going to grab some scrap paper. Now, you can either use your masking tape, washi tape, or you can just do something like that. Can you see that? Yep. So see how I've just cut out the rest? And so that when I stamp now, lift that up, you can have a look that all of that is done. And now I can line up royal. Hopefully fairly straight. Look. And now I've just got royal. It is so easy to manipulate your stamps so that one stamp will give you numerous options. So something like this gives me my numbers, it gives me lots of wording, it gives me just that word if I want, and things like that. So always look at your stamps. When you're purchasing stamps, look at, and I've been telling people this for years. I used to have a shop, and so I'd always say to people, and they're going, oh, what stamp should I get? I will always tell people, if you're just starting out getting stamps, get a stamp that is going to give you lots of different uses. That way it's worth more to you than what you're actually looking at to pay for it in the first place. Then if you find that you're stamping lots and all the rest, then yes, you can get yourself some more. But to start with, just look at stamps that you'll get lots of use out of. That's why I like number stamps and word stamps like these, especially sets like the Miller and French one, because it gives me so many options. So I want that one slightly down there like that, slightly above that, without ruining any of that. And that's what I want to do with the labels. So here's this one. You can see where I've used my numbers. There's this one. I've added a little bit of cheesecloth. Opening it up, I've used a little bit more of the ads that we'd had cut off from before. So you can see how we've done these. All right, so this one I've taken across. These ones have all been on these centre ones. Okay. And each one of these is a pocket. It is so easy to do. And, you know, these are a freebie. These are 2 kits that are in there that you get so much from. So have a look. Go over and check them all out. Close that, go to that. There's that one. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed this fold. And we'll sit you there, we'll sit you there, we'll tuck you in there. That one's ready to decorate the front. I've got my little book in here. And, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me with it. If you did like it, please hit the like button. I'd love you to like them. Love you to like them. You know what I mean. Love you to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.